Hey rivals, welcome to Back's Attacks. Tonight we're going to put the spotlight on Siku. I had heard a lot of good things about this ancient, but not until a kingdom mate called Meower got Siku leveled up to a high level have I got to see this in action. I asked him to show a few replays, and he did. And the first one here is taking on what he calls a southern style base. It's his technique to throw the dragon into the middle to absorb a lot of the fire while the troops move in. And here he's going to be using the area, the third spell, in order to have the buildings attack each other. And the troops are getting in under that cover very nicely. And are able to move in nicely on the stronghold. Now we're at stronghold 14, so you see some Primus mages in there as well. But the principles apply for lower levels. Alright, he shared another attack versus a more a typical walled base. Number of compartments in there. He's going to start out getting a little bit of mana so that he can have enough to power up that area spell. Coming in from the bottom away from the spell towers, again building up more mana and getting the troops in closer. And he's going to be casting the spell right in the core and have all of the spell towers fire at each other. As the troops come in closer, he has a choice between using the battlement, but he had 15 mana, so he cast another one. And now the troops are right on top of the stronghold before they've even been hit by the spell towers. So that's pretty effective use of Siku on that attack. And here's another example against kind of a bow tie style base here, where you have a lot of buildings on the outside. The buildings try to be defensives, but another way to look at it is they are a source of mana for high level spells. And again, the dragon churning in the middle gets knocked down, but that's okay. The area spell has the buildings shooting at each other, and the troops get in there and take that out. Alright, so after seeing several of these attacked, I was pretty much sold, and I wanted to take a shot at getting Siku. It took me a couple chests to do it, unfortunately, but after a while, on one of the chest openings, I was very glad to finally see Siku pop out. She's a special ancient that can only be found on the Ice Daily campaigns, or through these special ice chests. And so I've been saving up some Primus, hoping to get her. And she's definitely worth the Primus, so here I popped her up to level 34 as soon as I could. And I want to show you 3 different attack modes that I think are important with her. The first one leads with the third spell, using it on the core. The second approach uses the Song of the Sea as a finisher after sweeping across with Viscaria a number of times. The third approach is leading instead with the first spell, Battlement, especially when the spell towers are on the outside, getting through that danger zone first, and then building up 15 mana to use the third spell once you're closer to the core. Okay, let's look at an attack for each. The first one here, we're going to try to build up a large mana for the third spell, which takes 15, to have the buildings attack each other, kind of soften up everything up before the troops even really get in there. So we'll deploy them here against this bow tie-like base, draw a little bit of fire and get some damage from the Viscaria sweeping across, and as soon as we get 13 mana, I'm casting it off on the side there where we have the catapults, the watchtower, and the flame tower, very high damage buildings, all damaging each other. And we'll take a little bit of hit here and may take one spell tower briefly until we can get the 5 mana to cast the battlement, but it usually doesn't take too long to build that up. And then another area and battlement to finish up the base. So that one needs a lot of mana up front and is good when the spell towers are very much toward the interior. The second approach is indicated when you have a number of unprotected buildings on the outside and you can sweep Viscaria across several times. We're going to go for that relatively low hit point Primus Conduit in the middle, sweeping across that from several directions. In the process, we'll easily gain at least 10 mana for the Song of the Sea spell, Since the spell does about 200-300 points of damage, it can be very effective at knocking off those herd buildings. So 3 structures were killed with that spell, and the 2 spell towers just have a sliver of health left. We'll sweep across there, kill those 2, and that core is gone. Drop in the troops, stronghold down, and that's it. You can do that with a number of different spells. Viscaria is a real hero here, but Song of the Sea helps out with that. Okay, on this third style, we're going to use our Battle Lament and not try to use the area up front. So we'll just wait patiently for the troops to get near the spell towers, and then cast it right as we do. Keep them protected at all times from the spell towers, and then when we have a 15, we can feel free to cast that on the area. Again, looking for high hit point or high DPS buildings like that flare tower and that catapult. And there we go. Stronghold 14 taken down pretty nicely with that approach. And you don't need quite as high initial mana in order to pull that one off. Alright, let's close with one more example, this time player versus player. A pretty strong Stronghold 14 base with level 40 and 41 towers. And we're going to come in from the south here, actually using a Raider boost in order to clear off the gold on the side, remove the distractions, and help the troops funnel in. They'll also get that extra gold, and it's pretty substantial. And what we're going to do on this one is save up and watch what the Arya does here. See the flare tower? Don't see it anymore. That flame tower and the watch tower just annihilated it, which is great. Alright, so we got one Battle Lament down, and we're saving up for another Arya, so we let the troops get frozen, that's okay. This next area does a lot of damage between the flame tower and the catapults, and then they freeze themselves, so that's just great. So now that whole core was wiped out, the stronghold is about to go down, and a little bit of Song of the Sea, just as a victory song. And that was a particularly nice battle. I enjoyed that, and even better, it was worth 420,000 gold. So those are a few ways to attack with Siku, and let me know, do you Siku? Thanks for watching.